I Yes, yes, y'all. Another episode. We live here tonight. Is prime time. The M is silent, the M is small, because in life, the smaller things will quietly lead you to the bigger opportunities. Once again, I go by the name of the Entertainer. Follow me on all social media platforms at Entertainer and even on Cash App. Tonight, we coming to you from the West Coast. They call it GH, Gillian Harris, y'all. Coming from the LA, the CA, the Calais. Hey, home of the NBA 2020 champions, the Los Angeles Lakers. And she putting the game on ice. She's the intention coach. She got the smooth approach, and she's the intention coach.
I love that.
The CEO of Gillian Harris Worldwide Metaphysical Services. I'm gonna say it again. She is the CEO of Gillian Harris Worldwide Metaphysical Services. Check her out on her website, www.gillianharrisworldwide.com. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? I didn't want to interrupt. I just loved all that. I'm like, I'm just gonna let him just go and go.
Oh no. You know that's how we do. We gotta bring the info to the afro. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you today?
I'm blessed. And since you're the intention coach,
yeah,
through the word coaching, I'm gonna ask you some questions, and then at the end, if you have anything else you want to add,
okay,
feel free to do something. We're gonna make it happen.
Okay, copy that.
The C is for consultation. Now, how can people get a consultation with you and break down how you can help them?
And I love that too. The letters using the word coaching. And then, okay, that's great. So come to my website. Just go to my website, which looks like Gillian Harris Worldwide, because I spelled Gillian with a G, but GillianHarrisWorldwide.com, and all over the place on all of the pages, there are these opportunities to click and apply for a free consultation with me. And that's how we really get to get into your situation and what it is that you're working on creating, making happen. And so we can see if you like the way that I work and if we can maybe work together.
Okay. The O is for others. Now, why should others consider using metaphysics?
Why should others consider using metaphysics?
Yeah, because
we do it anyway. So this is really about just acknowledging that that's what's happening. Just because we're spirit beings. I mean, that's what's happening. That's what this is all about. So I'm here to actually, let me back up. We all use metaphysics on a day-to-day basis. We just may not acknowledge that. We may not realize that that is what's going on. That thoughts are creating things, that emotion is creating things, that we have intentions going on. So we're kind of aimlessly going through our life. And then, we get into these dramas, stuff's happening, and we got to acknowledge we're responsible for every single thing that happens, and so now we're in a situation we really can't blame the outside, except to say that thing on the outside that triggered some emotion or some situation was really just a catalyst for what now needs to happen within. So it's all about what's going on within. And so I'm here to help folks really do more precision living, where they're doing, creating it on purpose.
For the regular folks out there, can you just give us a basic definition of what metaphysics is?
I'd love to. So physics, physical. Outside the physical is outside the physical, right? So outside of the physical, and so those are a lot of things. For instance, we have senses as human beings. We've got some 5 basic senses. The nose, we can smell stuff, we can see stuff, we can hear stuff, we can taste stuff, we feel stuff. Okay, then we have some other senses that, with intuition. We've got the clairs. I love the clairs. You got 3 clairs. You got your clairaudience, which is hearing stuff outside of you that you look and you don't see anything, but I know I just heard that voice and it just told me to step out of the way, and I stepped out of the way and it saved my life. That you've got clairvoyance, so where you're seeing outside of yourself, you're seeing some other place, and you've got these things objectively and subjectively, and then you've got clairsentience, where you're reading emotion, you're getting emotion. It's not necessarily from you; it's from somewhere out there. Somebody around me right now is feeling some anxiety. Somebody you're anxious, and somebody will either not acknowledge it or not acknowledge it. But for me personally, I'm extremely clairsentient. A lot of people are very clairsentient, and it's probably one of the most, I feel like it was a really tricky thing. I'm still learning, I've acknowledged being clairsentient for a couple decades now, but I still feel like I'm learning to read it. So you get the emotion and learn to read. I just went through something that is kind of political related. I don't have to go too deep into it, right, really, but it was interesting because it's timely. And this just happened just a couple of weeks ago, where I'm getting emotion. I found myself deeply sad, like so sad, like in this deep abyss. I'm talking tears. Like I was just like, oh my God, broken sad, and sad over pictures. I'm seeing the pictures and I'm getting the emotion. The emotion is what I'm getting first. I'm feeling this, and I know what the subject matter is, but now I'm getting the pictures to go along with what I'm feeling. I'm seeing guns being loaded. I'm seeing weapons being loaded. I'm seeing enthusiasm and excitement over the loading and all this of these weapons and whatnot. And I'm like, oh my God. And I realize what I'm tuning into is it's violence. It's racism. And I'm like, my God, where am I getting this from? I don't watch the news every day. My mom watches the news. If something crazy happens, she'll let me know. But otherwise, I don't watch the news every day. I have other stuff to do, and, working with stones and gems and crystals and, and meditating and making healing, sound healing and stuff like that. So now I go to bed. The next morning I wake up, I'm still in this. I mean, this is so deep. It's like, this is like in my journal. I'm like, oh my God, some huge thing is happening right now. And I'm so in it, almost can't feel like whether it's mine or somebody else's. Ends up that it was a combination. It was someone else's. I was involved with it historically. The next morning I get up, I come to my computer, I look, and CNN sends me they send a lot of people, but a little e-blast every day, right? So I get this little e-blast. The first thing in the e-blast says, according to a document in Homeland Security, the #1 threat to America is white supremacy. And I'm like, oh, holy shiznit, Batman. That's what it was. Like, holy smokes. So now I call a friend of mine, love her, Lori Camacho, and she lives in Orange County. And so she's my go-to. Any of my books, when it has something to do with the metaphysical, chances are I'm going to call my buddy Lori and go, yo, dude, can we talk about this? And what was awesome in talking to her was that it brought up the ancestral healing that needed to happen. And so I'm getting my ancestors, and my ancestors are in the room. It's like now that I'm clear on what's happening, it's like, oh my God, but it's triple layers because it's them. They're hoping that we're getting healing. And let me explain that when we're born, we take on energetic information. We have cellular memory in our body, and we have DNA. That there's memory that comes along with that too. So when we're born, we actually take some of that from our parents, who've taken some from their parents, who've taken some from their parents. So going back physiologically in our genealogy, we've got history, and we've got that kind of drama going on. But then there's another layer where we do actually have ancestors who are present and hoping that we can heal, and that as we heal, it's going back and healing for them too at the same time. Then there's another layer of it where some of those ancestors, we are some of our ancestors. There's that. I know, I'm pretty sure that I was one of my great-great-grandfathers. So then there's that. And then, you get into the whole thing of why are people so sensitive about, even talking about race relations. Let's never mind racism, just race relations. Why is that such a, volatile conversation? And I think a lot of it has to do with our reincarnational history, where we have been and what we remember. And some of what we did, we may not be too proud of. You know what I mean? And some of that was, circumstantial, and some of it we made choices. But we have evolved as we've come along. And I don't think it's any coincidence that at this time, this is so interesting. I did not mean for the conversation to go this way, but I think it's any coincidence that at this time, we've got these young people, this young generation, they're like 18, 20, 21. They're, really young. And they are said to be the least racist generation that we've had in a long time. And I think the reason is because of what they've gone through. They're reincarnated people. They've been through that. So when what happened to George Floyd happened, and everybody saw that, pardon my language, but when they saw that, folks like reflex, boom, to the streets, you know what I mean? To protest and whatnot, like a reflex, like a knee jerk. And I think that some of those young folks didn't even realize. I'm all like, you guys are wonderful. You forgot your mask. But, they didn't think they even realized some of the history behind what drove them to go out and express that way. So where was I? How did that come up?
Oh, I was asking about the simple breakdown, but you gave us some good nuggets, because a lot of people don't know that life is simple, but it's deeper than you think, because you're not thinking about how to go back.
Right.
You're trying to move forward.
Right.
But I love what you're saying, because I had to ask for my own answers. And I asked my creator, take me back to before slavery. Because I asked that question,
wow,
I started getting healing. I started getting answers.
Absolutely.
I started moving forward. And a lot of people try to say, why is this happening for you? Why is that happening for you? And I'm like, hey, I'm asking for the change. I'm asking for the answers.
Right.
And the information is coming to me like,
right.
Yes. The A is for author.
Yeah.
Tell us about your books.
Let's see. Well, there are 4 of them. I'm working on the 5th one right now. The first one was, I want to say, in a way, it was my brainiest. It's called The Secrets of Lost. The Secrets of Lost, the Validity of Multidimensional Existence. So that one, I do the best I can. I do a pretty damn good job of explaining reincarnation, just how is that possible? How is it possible that we can go, and be in this body in this lifetime, and then come back and, be in another body in another lifetime? Then also, just to explain that reincarnation, a lot of people think it's like a chain. Like if you were born in 1902 and then you, left in 1957, then you couldn't be born again until 1958, or, like that. But that isn't the way it is. There are parallels. I've got lifetimes happening right now while I'm having this lifetime. Time is an illusion anyway. So this book is greatly about that. That book is fun because I used the TV series Lost. Did you see that?
No, I have. I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, it's a good one. It is a good one. And it won a ton of awards. But I got to the end of this mega long series. It's like 6 seasons or something. And I got to the end of it and was just like, oh my God, my knee jerk was, I got to watch that all over again. Holy smokes. And when I realized what was really happening, and I had all of this information, and I saw how metaphysical it was, and how it was actually a great example of what could potentially happen if, in this case, a group of people, I don't like the word dies because it doesn't make sense. Batteries die, cars die, inanimate objects die, but spirit beings can't die. So, but if you transition from this lifetime to another, and you're in the group of, another person or a few folks or a full plane of people, as was the case in this time, what could potentially happen? And so that's what it meant to me. Yeah, it was chock full. So in that particular book, there's like 250 timestamps, so that I could say, wow, and here's a great example of some kind of metaphysical thing. And here it is in episode 3 at this particular minute, and I put the timestamp right in there so you can actually go look at it. If you have Netflix or wherever Lost is showing, then it's right there for you. The next book that's really great, I do a couple of things. I love weight loss and beauty and all that stuff. And so I've got the 25 tools for weight release, 25 metaphysical tools for weight release. And those are very cool. But then there's my most recent, which is probably the most exciting. And that is Have We Met? How to Identify Your Reincarnated Loved Ones. And that is a case of soul recognition. It's based on a true story of me recognizing someone who I knew earlier in this incarnation for me, but it was a previous incarnation for him. And then I got to meet him again, like he transitioned like in the early 80s, and then he was born again in 1991, and I met him in 2016 again.
Wow.
Yeah, big wow, huge, major, massive. And so that's my current at this moment, and I absolutely will adore that book forever, because it speaks to really your spirit family and the reason to get to know them and recognize, you know, who they are and why they are. You know, how we're traveling lifetime to lifetime with each other, and for what? There's a reason for everything.
Right. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
COVID. Now tell us about this was interesting to me. Tell us about COVID dating.
Oh yeah. Okay, so what had happened was, okay. So I'm single, right? And yeah, okay, I'll just be like, you know, honest and everything. That'll make it more exciting. So let's see, last person I dated was like in October. Holy smokes, it's a year. Wow. Okay, so that ended in like in October, and then I was like, okay, we got holidays and stuff, and then after we, you know, to get through the holidays, we got January. I'm like, okay, let me start dating again, you know, and then boom, COVID happens. So now, you know, we're doing social distancing. We're all freaked out. We don't know what's going to happen. We're going to turn the corner. It's going to be The Walking Dead. We don't like that. It's like insane, right?
Right.
You know, one kiss could, like, you know, you come home and kill your family. You know what I mean? Not by shooting them, just breathe on them, you know, and that's it.
You don't know.
So, right. So I'm like, oh my God, you know, and I'm one of those who takes it really serious. Okay, so I'm, you know, do online dating services, and I noticed that like the younger the guys are, the more they're like, yo, can we, like, you know, what are you doing this evening? What you doing right now? You know, they, sure, I'll wear a mask, and then we're going to take the masks off, right? The older they were, I found that they were more like, you know, well, let's get to know each other. You know, this is a great opportunity to get to know each other. Right. So I'm like a fine line with that. I'm like, in a while, I'm like, okay, you know, this is sort of cool, but kind of not cool. I'm more with the let's take precautions. I mean, I'm one of the people who does believe that it's a serious cootie and that you don't know what it's going to do to you. It right. could be like just a little flu sneeze thing, or it could literally like leave you with the foggy brain thing, with the lung scarring, with the kidney thing, with like some really gross things, or just totally just take you out. Like, right. So because of that, I've taken it very seriously. I actually have a mask company. So I do masks, but they're sexy. They're, you know, I mean, this is a worthless one. In fact, I call this that I'm about to show you worthless beauty. And you would just use this with your quarantine partner. You know what I mean? It's that gorgeous, but you can breathe right through it. I mean, any cootie can get there and just say hello. Yeah, but I'm like, there needs to be a way for people to, every single person in the country does, like, everybody doesn't have COVID. So why wouldn't it be possible to connect with somebody else who doesn't have it? And then work on not having it together. So that's what I thought. So I came up with the 7 steps to safe COVID-19 dating. That's really cool. So there are different steps with those. And basically it kind of takes it back to courtship, where you take everything step by step, rather than, you know, meeting somebody. And, you know, a lot of folks nowadays, you know, they meet, they boink each other, and then they're like, yeah, what was your name? I really like you. You know? So this is more like, really, you got to get to know each other a little bit. Take that test, share your results with each other. And then I have a COVID-19 romantic coupling agreement. And I went crazy when I was pulling all this stuff together. And when I came up with the agreement, now it just kind of has like a few little points to it. I, Lucy, and I'm dating Bob, and we agree that this is going to be monogamous. We're going to be exclusive with each other, and we are going to do everything we can not to catch the cootie. And if we decide that we don't want to do this anymore, we will opt out. So we both sign this agreement. And then below that, there's an opt-out line. So if you decide this is not the right thing for me, I'm signing, dating, take a picture with my phone, text it to the person, I have opted out. Now, the thing that to me that's weird about this is that you're signing an agreement to date somebody who in normal conditions, you would just date them. And when you finally decide that, you know what, I like you enough that I want to be monogamous with you. I don't want you dating anybody else, and I don't want to date anybody else. Then you do that. But because of the cootie and the fact that, the more people you bring into your world, the chances, your chances are higher that you're contracting something. So you want to not have that chance. So you concentrate one suitor at a time. And that's basically what this is for. But then it opens up this whole thing that most people are a little uncomfortable with. A lot of those early relationships will end just with folks just, ghosting each other. It's like, that's the easy way out. I just didn't call him anymore. I just didn't, I left her alone. That's not, you can't do that. You actually have to, like, what are you doing with my friend Alice? We're in an agreement. Oh, well, I opted out. Well, I didn't know you opted out. You know what I mean? You have to show the person that you have this. And the coupling agreement says, and it would be really nice if you could maybe explain what it is that, made you have this decision. Maybe something simple like, you're awesome. I want to stay friends. I mean, that thing again, let's be friends, So there's that. What else did I come up with? I think, just those and the sex survey. I came up with the sex survey, and we're about to do analytics on that in a minute. I'm having someone who's really good at that help me with analyzing the results of the sex survey, because I'm like, I need to understand. I'm seeing something and I have some assumptions about what's happening. I mean, I'm feeling that one question I didn't put in there that I should have put in there. It almost seems like it's bipartisan, but not really, but kind of. Maybe bipartisan by age, I don't know, in terms of how serious you're taking the cootie and whether it is getting in the way of your socializing and romancing and touching and stuff, So yeah, I got real busy. I just let my juices just flow. I'm just stirring up all kinds of solutions and whatnot.
You got to do that. The H is for healing. I was reading up that you help heal people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I am a spiritual healer, but I want to say I don't feel like I heal people, but I do feel that I've been gifted with the ability to give direction. So that folks can connect with inside what they need to heal themselves. And so, yeah, my whole thing is always about empowering other people with the information that they need to do it themselves. That's what my intention coaching is. So I end up giving out information. I know I'm doing this. I'm giving out so much information. They're not going to need me anymore. And the only time that a person would, after using my service for a while, is if they just like when I need a coach. Like, I'm a great coach, but I often will need one. So I will go to that person to help me.
Let's go into that since you mentioned your intention coaching.
Yeah.
Why is it important to be intentional?
I think to be clear on your intention is the main thing, because otherwise, like we were saying earlier in the very beginning, you're just aimlessly going through stuff and not realizing that what you're living is part of your own script that you've created. So to be conscious and clear on your intention, truly to like take a minute every morning and go, what do I want to create today? And then set about to do that. And when you're in the midst of something and it's just not feeling right, and you're feeling like inside your inner peace is just not happening, your peace is disturbed, what's going on? Check out what's going on and how in alignment with what you want your day to be like is this? And then what can we do to correct that, to get back on track? We always have that opportunity in any moment.
Yeah, I like that because, life, it's like things in life words. Let me say, words speak. Words come to me through people.
Yeah.
Like the word intention. It's saying in, and then you got tent, right? So
Right.
when you in something, you covered. So
Right.
like your intention is going to put you in a place where you got protection.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So that's why I like words because I understand some things you kick it to me because I wanted to know where I came from.
Right.
And then when I was seeking answers from my ancestors from I knew we're spiritual beings.
Right.
And I understood that, I want to know where my gifts came from.
Right.
So what I got was, it took me back to the Phoenicians.
Oh, wow.
People called the Phoenicians.
Yeah.
And the reason is because a lot of times when I'm working with words, it's not always how they spell, but it's how they sound.
Right.
And Phoenicians is where people got phonics, like hooked on phonics.
Yeah.
A lot of times people think hooked on phonics is something new, but they really got it back from the group of people called the Phoenicians because it's just like we sound off words and we get these sounds.
Oh my God. So those people are part of your history.
In my spirit.
Okay,
Right?
got it.
Without doing DNA and genealogy,
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking, why do I hear words? Why do I hear things in words?
Absolutely.
Why these meanings and these stories. And it took me, and by asking these questions, it took me to the Phoenicians because I want to know why.
Right.
And so spiritually, I'm connected to those people.
Absolutely.
Sound off words, and I find stories in words.
Right.
So, it wasn't specifically, hey, these the people, without taking a blood test, without DNA, these people, because they had to have a language to sell and do things to the market. Because we don't come from, a lot of people think we come from words and languages. We come from sounds before you get a word.
Right.
When a baby speaks, the baby's making sounds.
Right.
They're not speaking words. They learn the languages that we tell them that this is your language, but they not. But they speaking in their sounds and they phonics.
Right.
That's why they still can understand. We can understand them. They're not even speaking words. So.
Wow. Well, but you saying that makes me want to bring up one other thing that I had left out earlier, and I was going to circle back. I'm going to do it right now, though, because I want you to know that when we do our reincarnational thing, we're not always the same race, the same culture, the same religion, the same political party, or any of that. All of that changes. Same astrological side. No, it like all changes so that we can have different kinds of experiences. So yes, you definitely don't. It's not dependent upon the DNA thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The end is for now. Why should people go for it now? Like we mentioned, we mentioned this is happening, that is happening. Why should you go for it?
You know what? I was just writing something today. I was like, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I'm like, and that's right now. I call it desperate times, although and however, desperate measures, I don't know. Some people think that the stuff that I do is kind of extreme. It's like, oh my God, it's like, really, you're going to spend your time and energy with some crystals and some stones and some colors and, aromas and, calculative thought, strategic thought and authentic emotion are also part of the tools that I teach people how to use on purpose and with precision to create exactly precisely what you want. And right now we've got some of the most brilliant economists out there talking about some serious doom and gloom. But the law of attraction, it says it has nothing to do with what an economist has to say, even if they're right. It has nothing to do with what you end up creating for yourself. Right. So now, and there are a lot of folks who you either want to just be dependent on the situation that's happening right now, or you want to take your life into your own hands and control it.
You got to reach out and touch that dream.
Yes.
The last letter in the word coaching is give.
Yeah.
If you're talking to a group right now and they had no hope, they felt like they had no hope.
Yeah.
They looked like they had no hope, but they just needed to hear from you. And like you said, you can give them that message.
Yeah.
They open their eyes to find the prize. What kind of words of encouragement would you give to them? Because maybe somebody listening right now, or maybe somebody that sees the interview at another time.
Yeah. Okay, I'm that crazy woman. Okay, she says crazy stuff, but here's what I would say. I would just have to remind them, that everybody, you are a unique expression of God. That's true. And until you really get that, then you don't get what your power is. And that's what this whole metaphysical thing is. And so we're each spirit beings rather than human beings. As human beings, if that's all you think you are, then you are absolutely limited like a Honda. But what if I tell you that you're actually a Lamborghini with a bunch of other extra buttons and amenities? And that's what we get as being spirit beings. But we're brought here and we're taught by other people who also have been like, kind of shut down in that reality that we're more than that. We're so incredibly powerful and magnificent. Just we're designed to be able to create stuff with our thoughts and emotions. God did that. That's what it is, And so I feel bad for folks who don't have that part that, at least agnostic, knowing that there is a God, because that's where it is for me. If not, I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be able to create what I create. And I've been in moments when there was nothing. And I want to say, I am, I consider myself pretty much an expert when it comes to the law of attraction, but I'm real human too. So I get into moments, and this COVID thing happened. My main company is a private event valet company. And so that means people have gatherings. They have gatherings. They call me. I send a team. We park the cars. Okay. Well, all of a sudden, with this particular kind of crisis, nobody wanted to have gatherings. And the money went away, but the bills stayed. And that, for a moment, scared the living daylights out of me. And I had to really grab myself and go, wait, I can fix this. I can control this. I don't have to be so wrapped up. I mean, I was wrapped up in my own fear along with everybody else's fear and anxiety over the whole thing. But once I grabbed that back and realized what my tools were, it became a blissful period. And I almost is the operative word, almost felt guilty saying to people, COVID-19 has been a blessing to me. It has been a blessing and an ability to actually create things that I always wanted to create, just didn't give myself the time, and one of the things that it's creating is moving my practice from part-time and only having, maybe like 5 or 6 clients at a time to going full-time with it. I'm full-time with it now. And that's the way it will always be, even as Valet comes back. I don't know if I answered the question. I hope that I did.
You did, because some people are stressing.
Yeah.
They're in a stressing situation when they could be in a blessing situation. Because I always tell people, in order to get a blessing, you have to be a blessing.
Right.
And before we go, is there anything you'd like to add or anything we missed out on?
Oh my gosh. I'll probably figure that out right as soon as we disconnect. I'll be like, oh my God. Geez, I don't know. I don't think I have. I do want to say, I do have a new product. I'm doing intention beads. I don't have any right here in my grabbable hand, but these are going to be intention beads, tiger's eye. But like, I'll use stones and crystals that are with a particular purpose. So if your thing is about abundance, if your thing is about you're freaked out, you need to calm down. Got stones just for that. You need to nurture yourself more. You want romance in your life. You want finance in your life. You want, some kind of stability. You want the ability to speak. You have a presentation to do. You have a project you're working on. Whatever it is, there are things, guides, tools. So I've been creating the intention beads, which are about to be part of my store, themaskdiva.com. But with the masks, people are wearing masks. And so I'm using stones and crystals with particular energetic purposes attached to the masks. Like bling, it's all like, party and whatnot. But the truth is that you're carrying around with you the energetic benefits that you need to help you, to assist you in your day. So we're going to be doing a fashion show on my channel, on my Facebook page. And that's going to be on the 22nd of this month. So I hope that you'll be there at 7 o'clock.
All right, that's a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, we just talked to Gillian Harris out of Los Angeles, California. She's the intention coach, CEO That's Gillian Harris Worldwide Metaphysical Services. Check out on our website, www.gillianharrisworldwide.com. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Another great episode.
Thank you so much.
No, it's a blessing. No, thank you, because I always learn from it. Everyone can teach you something, but you have to be willing to learn.
Absolutely.
Tell everybody, keep following me on social media at the Entertainer and even on Cash App. And I'll tell people, whatever you say and whatever you do, keep working on your craft, because the things you say and the things you do may be the only school that others ever see. And until next time, I thank you for your time. And my good friend Zay Sanford at Zay Sanford Music, he brought us in, and he's going to take us away. You will be amazed.